said only rainbows after rain, the sun will always come again, and it's a circle, circling around again. It comes around, but you gotta keep your head up, oh, and you can let your head down, hey. You gotta keep your head up, oh, and you can let your head down, hey. I know it's hard, to remember sometimes, but you gotta keep your head up, oh, and you can let your head down, hey, and keep your head up, and you can let your head down, and keep your head up, and you can let your head down, and keep your head up, and you can let your head down, sing, oh, no, 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 no.
Hey, hello, hi. So, welcome to Wednesday night Power Up service. I am incredibly proud and honored that I am your host this evening. My name is Catherine Cespedes, and I will be here on Wednesday evenings to kind of, just be the face for you guys. Every Wednesday, we have wonderful, amazing artists and speakers for you. So I hope that this evening is jam filled with everything it is that you need to start off this year on a good step, on a good note. If you're watching online, we feel your consciousness. Thank you. And with all that being said, I suggest you stand up because you're going to stand up anyway. We have a wonderful artist here today. She's been here every Wednesday. Her voice alone will make me stand up and dance. So help me give her a warm welcome to Kinney Dye.
Thank you. All I need is sunshine in the morning, a cup of coffee, yeah, make it black, and all I want are miles to go walking. Keep it simple, my mind's on track, now just be rolling down the road. Follow my heart, see where it goes. Well, I've always been one to find my way. No matter where the stones may lay, I'll forge a path all before midday. Because there isn't much I need. An open space, a gentle breeze. Somewhere I can find me a good old song to sing. No, there isn't much I need. Lately life's been looking like a puzzle, and all my pieces, they're scattered around. But one by one, I'll put them back together. Piece by piece, yeah, I'll lay them down. I've never been one to wait in line. I jump right in, and it's just fine. But something's telling me, take your time, because there isn't much you need. An open space, a gentle breeze. Somewhere you can find you a good old song to sing. No, there isn't much you need. The sun shines there to light our day. The moon and stars, they guide our way at night. The trees create the air we breathe, and the rain gives us what we need to thrive. Because there isn't much we need. An open space, a gentle breeze.
Wow. Okay. So, I see a lot of new faces. So, hello. It's so nice to see you and some faces that I've seen for a while, and it's always beautiful to be here in front of you. We're going to take this time to introduce Deb Sadler, who is one of our practitioners here at Seaside. She's also the director of education here, and she has created a beautiful catalog here at Seaside where we can dig a little bit deeper into our consciousness, who we are, who we want to become. All that being said, a warm welcome to Deb Sadler.
Good evening. The air, the songs, the open breeze are all spirit. And spirit moves in, through, and around and as all that exists. And it is love, and it is grace. And there is compassion that moves through every part of space, every part of the universes, because it is all God and it is all good. And there is a law of good and a law of growth that operates and creates plants and trees and planets. And that same intelligence that created worlds is the same intelligence that moves through me. For I am a divine expression of spirit, individualized. And as this is true for me, this is true for each person here, that each person is that perfect whole and complete expression of the divine, here for a purpose, here to create beauty and love and experience the joy that is this thing called life. And so I know this service is blessed, and that each person here receives a message that sends them off into this beautiful new year with hope and faith and belief in themselves and the goodness of life.
Thank you, Deb. So, this is our time and space to create our intentions. What got you into your car to drive out here this evening? What are you looking for? What are you searching for? Kini's going to strum a little bit for us while we take this moment to go within and search for that intention within ourselves. And gently coming back into our bodies. Welcome. If you would like to share at this time what intention came to you, feel free to shout it out or raise your hand, however polite you want to be. Yeah. Peace of mind. Yeah, beautiful. Hope. Freedom. Yeah. To see God in everybody. Wow. Anybody else want to share? Clarity. Wow. For me, what came up was space. And I don't really know what that means, but that's what came up. So, this evening, we have a powerful, powerful facilitator. She's a workshop facilitator, a public speaker. She came to us all the way from Temecula Valley. Yeah, I know. She's a licensed practitioner, a ministerial student from the Holmes Institute, a singer and songwriter. Now, Cese has been transformed by this teaching, this spiritual practice, and the CSL community Center for Spiritual Living. She is called to serve God and humanity in ever greater ways. Her intention is to move hearts and be a powerful channel of love and truth as humanity awakens to its divinity. And that is Miss Cese Foster. So help me welcome her on stage.
Thank you, Kat. It's good to be here. Another Power Up Wednesday. I was here in December, so welcome to everybody. And, this is a new year. You've mentioned this a couple times. It's come up in our prayers, and this is a time where we do tend, I don't know if it's part of our race consciousness or whatever, when 1 year ends, it's like we have this idea that we need to set goals and intentions, right? So how many here have done their New Year's resolutions? Okay. Well, I kind of have changed it a little bit, and I do intentions now. And one of my friends the other day, she was like, so what's your New Year's resolutions? And I'm like, well, I decided to make it easy on myself. My New Year's resolution is to help all my friends and family gain 10 pounds so I look a little skinnier in those photos. Joking, of course, So yeah, it really is this time. This is a perfect time. The theme for all month is about abundance. And this kind of flows with our intentions of, I think what it is, at least I can speak from my own experience, is going into the new year. It's like, how am I going to be more, have more, do more? And I think this is part of all of our journey. Some of the intentions that I heard here tonight, that's part of it. And in the last few years, my perception of abundance has changed quite a bit. I used to think if I only met my soulmate, if I only had, a six-figure income, a nice house, life would be good. And I did that. I met my soulmate. And together we created this abundance. We listened to a lot of Tony Robbins during that time. And that stuff works. It's a form of the New Thought teaching, right? And it works. And so we went from renting a place when we first got together to we bought our first place together. It was a triple-wide mobile home, and a year and a half later, we moved into a 5,000 square foot estate in a very nice area of Riverside. So we were doing it. And as this story goes along, you think, oh, wow, look at that, and this is about getting, what I want to kind of talk about and focus on tonight is how we get attracted by the form, the material, what we think is going to give us the experience of love or of freedom or of peace or of joy. And we're going to dive into that a little bit. In my story, attaining all of that, there's another side to that story. Getting all of that was not necessarily the experience that I wanted to have. Life changes, right? And there's things that happen that you don't foresee. So for us, our journey, we lived in that house for, I think, 7 or 8 years, our dream home. And then there was a diagnosis, and then the market. We all know about 2008, right? Yeah. That happened, and, my wife couldn't work anymore. So this business, and she's a type A personality. She was the go-getter, I was the one that's kind of helping, I was the one, and she was it. She's quite the manifester. And when she got sick, my whole world changed, right? She was my rock when it came to that kind of stuff of making things happen. She did it all. And so we went from that to she could do practically nothing. And so let's just say that shift, we lost the house, We downsized our life a little bit, and then it was all on me, and that was hard. That was hard. Anybody have a life change where it's like you weren't expecting it, and it's like, oh my God, how am I gonna do this? You know, how am I gonna make this happen? And so that led me, you know, down a path of addiction, just trying to handle my pain, right? To be all that. And so it was in 2010 that I first walked into the Center for Spiritual Living, Temecula Valley. My heart so heavy, my life so, feeling so broken. It wasn't broken, but it felt that way. And I began my journey. So this is like 10 years ago. And wow, have things changed. Amazing changes in my life. So abundance means something different to me now. I've had that idea of what abundance is, and those things are nice. It's good to have more than enough. And that's actually my talk title tonight, is More Than Enough. And what I know now that is that abundance is an inside job. For me, it has been a process of opening to the gift of life that has already been made, of changing the way that I see myself, and I see the people around me, and the world around me. And it's been a process. It's 10 years. But it has been a major transformation. Now, for me, it's not only about seeing more than enough or having more than enough, it's about self-realization, waking up to the fact, to the truth that I am more than enough. This is a big part of it, because if we walk through this life with this idea that somehow we're not enough, that we can't handle it, that we can't do that I'm not good enough, that I'm not smart enough, that I'm not young enough, that I'm not old enough. I mean, we have all these things, right? Do we all have sometimes these things that go through our head where it's like, and it really is this that is seeking to be healed in each of us. Because these are the filters, the beliefs that we have about ourselves and about life that are based in illusion. They are not true. But when we live by them, it is like, they're like filters that prevent us from experiencing the good that is right here and now, present. So for me, it's like, to experience abundance, for me, I feel like it's about living in harmony with life. Living in harmony with life. So when I think of life, I mean, you look at nature, you see this perfect balance, this perfect interconnectedness, there's these exchanges, and the limitless life forms that are connected and interdependent. There's peace. That is life. And when I'm in those states of being, I am in harmony with life. So healing our sense of unworthiness and letting go of those beliefs and patterns of being that limit the flow of good, this is our work to do. This is what we are called to do. This is a part of why each of us came here tonight. You're called into a greater expression of yourself, and you're maybe not quite clear on how to go about it. But part of living in harmony with life and healing ourselves, not only our self-worth, but it's also healing our sense of separation. That's a big one. When we feel separate, when we feel alone, that tends to keep us in a place of fear and limitation and doubt. And when we are there, again, these are filters that do not allow the abundance of life to come into our experience. So when we look at the material world, what I kind of want to take into this is when we are looking to get something, whether it's a new job, a new relationship, we want to have something. I want us all to look a little deeper is, what is the experience? you want to have? Is getting that new job going to give you a greater sense of security? Is having that new relationship going to make you feel more love? What is the experience? Because I think when you do some self-reflection on that, when you do a little spiritual practice around that, you will discover that you don't have to wait for that form to show up. You can have this experience, and this is where we're going to go into, a little bit about our spiritual practice. But I want to, before we go into that, I want to share this quote from a book called Elegant Choices, Healing Choices by Marcia Saintar. She says, vital life expression means the self-affirmed, authentically lived life in which individually we discover our life's meaning and choose incrementally to live that knowledge out. We get stuck in life when we go for the form of our desires without considering the experience that we want. When we get what we are going for, sometimes it is unfulfilling and hollow. When we understand the spiritual nature of our being, we will perceive our wants and desires in a new context. I really like that quote, and it kind of made me think of some of the sayings in the Bible, such as, the kingdom of God is within you. And the other one that it brought to mind was, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all things will be added unto you. And so that has been my experience. That is the reason for the transformation of my life, because it is about seeking that kingdom within. And we do that, the way we tap into that is through spiritual practice. It's through meditation, through prayer, through journaling, through self-reflection, through contemplation. It is that desire that is at the heart of, I think, everyone, to know the divine, to know God, to know Spirit, to know the great mystery to the best of our ability. So spiritual practice is how we do it. This is how we awaken. This is how we begin to live in harmony with our life, with life itself. I personally don't know of any other way around it. So, does anybody here have a regular spiritual practice? Okay. Now, if someone can answer this question, if you have a daily practice, and let's say you go on vacation or something, and sometimes that can kind of knock off your flow, right? You're in a new place, around new people, you may not have your little space there, and you don't do it for a couple days. Do you notice a difference? Right? Feel a little off. You kind of can revert back to a little bit, because then we become like receptive to race consciousness, right? And there's some stuff going on there. I mean, 2017, there's some major stuff going on in the collective consciousness. So to feel peace in the midst of all of this, to feel love, to feel joy, to feel power, it's the only way I know. It's the only way I know to tap into that presence within. And so that's really the challenge for each of us, is as we go into the new year, keep your intentions, keep your resolutions, keep your goals, and do a little self-inquiry. What is it that I want to experience through these things? And then ask yourself the question, can I experience this now? The truth is you can. And for me, the spiritual practice is the way. If you don't know how to do it, there's tons of classes. You can see spiritual practitioners. You can take workshops. I mean, go within. You will be guided to your perfect path to awakening, because that is our divine birthright. That is the gift that we have come here to experience. So before we end off here tonight, I want to share a quote by Ernest Holmes that kind of captures the essence of what I'm trying to say here in this very short talk about abundance. Life is infinite energy coupled with limitless creative imagination. It is the invisible essence and substance of every visible form. Its nature is goodness, truth, wisdom, and beauty, as well as energy and imagination. Our highest satisfaction comes from a sense of conscious union with this invisible life. All human endeavor is an attempt to get back to first principles, to find such an inward wholeness that all sense of fear, doubt, and uncertainty vanishes. That's what I'm talking about. That was from The Art of Life by Ernest Holmes. So that's the intention that I have going into this next year. It is a year of expansion for me. More wholeness. No sense of fear. So that means more courage. Certainty, love, joy. That is the divine gift. It is ours. And so it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Cese. All right. So now we have space to ask any questions that may have come up while Cese was up here. And not only questions, but also comments. Because here, Wednesday nights, what we do a little bit different is that this is a community. You're not only learning from us, we're also learning from you. And that's what makes this different. So if there's any thoughts that came up, any questions that came up, I'm coming down, so I will find you and I will give you the mic. I'm a-coming. Any
Watch out.
questions? You go ahead, raise your hand. Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
So what came to mind for me was just maybe the difference or the sameness of the abundance of material versus, or the sameness of abundance of feelings. I got a sense of power of gratitude as far as how we sense that, but that there is a difference between our feelings and our material wants.
So, is there a question in that, or you want to kind of clarify what my view of that is?
Clarification.
Yeah. Kind of like the story that I said, it's like we all, and that's part of the human experience. We do, it's all around us, this idea that abundance is a material reflection. And the truth is like for me, it's like some of the most happy and joy-filled times in my life are when it was simple, right? And the more, sometimes for me, and again, I'm speaking to my own experience, is the more you have, the more responsibility you have, the more you have, the more you got to take care of, the more you have, the more doingness. And what I'm talking about is beingness, because we can be joyful sitting at the beach. I don't own the beach. None of us own the beach. That is part of our world that we can experience and feel joy, moving our body, loving somebody, doing a kind thing, those random acts of kindness. Sometimes I see in people that don't really have a lot materially, just this sense of joy and freedom and love being expressed, and sometimes having a lot. There's people that have a lot that also reflect that. But I think our life is about the experience, right? We want to have a good experience. So I think by focusing on the experience and really touching into that kingdom within, those things come to us. When we really want to manifest something, in my life now is if I really want something, it just comes. I just don't want that much as far as like material things, but if I want it, if I want to have that experience, it just comes to me. It's being in the flow. Eric Butterworth talks about that as the flow of life, and that's all in here, being open to it. Does that feel good? Okay, cool. Thanks.
Dennis, I'm coming.
So when you were talking about when you found yourself, feeling a little low, after losing the house and you getting into whatever was happening in your life at that time, how did you find the Temecula Church? Were you looking at that time? And the other one was, what were some of the spiritual practices you developed early on to get you into the flow of what it was like being in that center and getting back into the unity of life?
Well, I'd known about the teaching for a while. I'd already read the Science of Mind. All my life I've been a spiritual seeker, but I was more like the lone wolf. I wasn't ever part of a community. And that part of my life, in addiction they call it the bottom, it was a sense of desperation. It's like, I need something. And Googled it. That's how I found it. I knew that there was one in Riverside, but I lived further away from that. I didn't want to travel that far. And as soon as I knew. I walked in the doors, and I probably cried the first few Sundays that I was there, just that. And then the practices that I learned, the cool thing about the classes is they're a lot of experiential learning. So, these processes that you go through, you are releasing, you are healing wounds, you are stepping into greater expressions of yourself in the classes, you are learning how to meditate and how to pray affirmatively, how to use spiritual mind treatment, which for me was a big one. That was a practice I did daily, have done daily for like the past 9 years. So, that answer your question? Okay.
We have time for one more question or comment, or if you just want to say hi to me.
Jenny's got them.
Jenny. On Wednesdays, I don't do cardio because I just have to come here.
So when you're talking about the, excuse me, the experience that you get from something, are you basically talking about the spiritual prototype?
The experience, the spiritual prototype is the divine idea.
Right.
That is a
Right.
spiritual prototype. There is a spiritual prototype of each of us that is free and joyful and whole and healthy and vibrant and unafraid, right? And I'm not really talking about that. I'm talking about the experience, of like
Right.
what you're experiencing in the moment,
Right. Because when we talk about that, it's another way of putting it for me anyway. Instead of saying what's the experience I want, it's how would I feel if I had it. So it would be like security, say, in a situation. Not that I have all this stuff, but if I did, it's the security that I'm seeking.
Right.
Right, and that's what I mean by spiritual prototype. So that's the experience I'm seeking is the what did I say, the security. Thank you. I'm losing my, so that's the experience is what I mean. So putting it in other words for me makes it more sense.
Yeah, and if you do have a spiritual practice, right now, how this works for me, and this is how I do treatment, because a lot of times in our teaching we talk about being very specific, outline it. That's all good, and there's something deeper,
Right.
right?
Right.
So if I was not feeling secure, my prayer would be like, I am safe. I am a part of this life. I am guided, loved, and protected. So I always pray for the qualities of the divine.
Exactly.
That works for me.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wow, guys, you have awesome questions. Okay, so you're probably thinking, how do I do this, right? Like, all right, this is fun and this is great, but how am I going to do this? How am I going to apply this to my life? And you know what? We're going to have Kinney Die. Give us a little break. I thought I had it memorized. Give us a little break.
Hold that thought.
And we're going to bring her back on stage.
Tricked ya. Oh man. Well, that resonated with me pretty intensely. I had one of those bottom moments. Thank goodness for music. I didn't know how I was gonna get myself out of it, but this song came out of it. And if you're there, Maybe this will help you too. Daily feeling less than half alive and barely breathing, just trying to survive. With a little bit of luck, I can make it through the night. To see the sunrise another day, or keeping up my fight. Moving slowly, feeling all the pain, and taking with me all there is to gain. Well, I can walk away now, knowing I am stronger. The battle may be done, but the war I face will go on even longer. And love is the only way to get us through what we think may be our last day. And though it's hard, you got to say, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Hearts get broken, bleeding, left for dead. And minds, oh, they go crazy, replaying what was said. And I'm sick of hearing time will always make things better. Oh, isn't there another way to hurry up the pain and pull myself together? But love is the only way to get us through what we think may be our last day. And though it's hard, you got to say, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Ashes, ashes, we all fall down into the ground. And dust to dust, we will rise again. Stronger than the wind. And love is the only way to get us through what we think may be our last day. And though it's hard, you got to say, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay.
Yeah. It's like, it's gonna be okay, Kat. You can mess up sometimes. Of course, it is very important for us to feel empowered and inspired and uplifted. That's what we came here for. But here at Wednesday Night Power Up, we think it's incredibly important to leave with something concrete so that we can implement it into our lives and we can become better individuals, better beings, better by using better practices. So I want to welcome Cese Foster back on stage so she can give us a call to action.
Thank you.
She's wonderful.
So I think the talk kind of says it all. I'm sure that everybody's kind of sitting with some of that. So in this new year, the call to action is to really, if you have a bunch of material things or things that you want to attract into your life, to get clear on the experience. What is the quality of the divine? Is it love? Is it joy? Is it freedom? And start to ask the question. Get quiet enough within yourself to listen to what comes up. And know that you can have that right now. It's already here, those experiences. With that, I'd like to do a prayer to kind of anchor this all and bring it into being. Just taking a breath in. And centering into the beauty and the perfection of this moment. Breathing in the great truth that there is an infinite spirit of love, of peace, of power, that has breathed all things into being. It is this presence that I call God, and it goes by many names. But it is the truth that is at the center of everything. God is the infinite intelligence that has designed the universe. It is perfect. It is one life that is being lived here, and I am one with it. I am a part of it, and this is true for everyone here. We are each unique emanations of the divine perfection of life. Each of us has come here in this time, in this space, to be a gift to the world. And I know right here and right now that for each of us in this oneness, I know that there is the gift of abundance pouring into our experience. And so I know right here and now that each and every one of us is guided on our path. We are guided to exactly what it is we need to do or be in order to unleash this abundance, to allow it. I know right here and now in this moment that the trance of unworthiness is broken. That each and every person here is on the path of awakening to this beautiful, amazing, joyous, loving life. And I call it forth right here in this moment, knowing that there is a part of each and every one here that absolutely knows that this is true. This is the truth of us. And so I call this truth forward into the experience of all. And so I am grateful. Grateful to know it, grateful to speak it. For I know that there is a law that absolutely responds to this word right here and now, and it is coming forth in the most perfect and grace-filled way. And so for this, I am grateful. And I release my word to the law and know that it is so. And so it is.
Okay, so this is the portion in our service where we participate in the law of circulation, knowing that whatever we give comes back to us multiplied. And this is not the reason why we give, but this is how we give. So I'm going to ask for our ushers to come forth, and Deb Sadler to come up on stage. So we're going to bring our offering to our heart. Together we will repeat the affirmation. This gift I give is God in action. I give it in joy. I give it in love. I give it in gratitude for all the good in my life. And so it is.
Knowing that these gifts go out into the world and circulate our greatest wishes and hopes and dreams out into the ethers, creating an expansive consciousness, not just for us, but for the world. And so we are grateful for every gift that goes into the basket to express the joy that is Seaside.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. All right. So, last week we had Kimjera Whittington here. And if you weren't here, or if you were here, I'll give you a little recap. So, last week, her talk title was Embracing an Abundant New Year. How appropriate. So, she talked about utilizing the laws to produce the effect or outcome that we want. Sounds a little similar. And the law of averages, she spoke about cause and effect. She spoke about the law of attraction, and she also spoke about the law of circulation. The call to action from last week was to ask yourself, where in my life can I create abundance? What must I think, believe, or feel in order to call it forth? Is there anything that needs to be released in order to allow to open to the good in my life? And is there anything that I need to know in order to create abundance? She finished off with, everything you need to know is right within you. Now, if you want to watch this entire thing, which was amazing, I watched it like 3 times, everything is always live streamed. Hello. And it is archived. So you can find it on our YouTube channel, and it is under January 3rd, 2018. With that being said, I'm coming back down with the mic. That means that you can share. And if it's not about last week, maybe something from the talk brought something up that you would like to share. Again, this is a community, and this is how we are going to create this community feeling, by talking to each other. This is how we grow. If you don't want to talk, I can talk. I enjoy talking. Thank you.
Well, I've been thinking about expansion and abundance, and I've really been thinking about the show Fixer Upper. And the thing I like about the show is that it makes people's dreams come true beyond their wildest dream and beyond their wildest imagination. And so that's what I wrote as one of my intentions, that I would have expanded consciousness and expanded health and expanded wealth beyond my wildest imagination and my dreams, and I'm looking forward to playing with that, because I like the idea of going beyond what I can create, because I know Spirit can do so much better of a job. So I'm into being really open.
That's funny, because last year I created a vision board, and I had all these pictures of different places that I wanted to go. So I wanted to go to Cuba, and I wanted to go to New York City, and I wanted to go to Mexico. And at the time, I was like, I don't know how this is going to happen. I have no idea, but I'm going to throw it up there anyway. And a few other things, of course. And I actually ended up going to Cuba and Mexico, and I just came back from New York City. I was like, look at that. I didn't even notice. I came back, and I was looking at my vision board, about to take it down, right? Because this Saturday, I'm doing another one. We actually have a workshop on Saturday. If you guys are interested in that, we have a practitioner who's working with that. And of course, we have workshops, abundance, all this stuff, Saturday. So yeah, I was like, wow, look what happens when you remove yourself and you allow Spirit to do it for you. That was just one thing. I could talk all night. But this is about you. Is there anyone else that would like to share? It doesn't have to be about last week. It could be about what happened today. Or you just want to smile at me. And I can smile back. All right, that's fine. But next week, I will give you the mic. You will share. All right. So that I don't make you any more uncomfortable, I'm going to get back on stage. Time of gratitude. Oh man, I am incredibly grateful for each and every single one of you. You have truly added your consciousness, your energy, your light to this service this evening. So thank you. And if you're watching online, hi Mom. I say hi to her every time. Thank you. You too have shared your consciousness, your light, and your love, and we feel that. Thank you, Gregory. You're behind the video camera. And so is Tim Griffin. Thank you. Thank you, Steve Grands, doing the audio and sound along with Melanie. We have Deb Sadler, who was our practitioner this evening. We have Dennis and Ginny Mills, who were here as our ushers and helping this evening. We have a very silent practitioner here who has been holding the light, holding the space for us this whole evening. He's in the back, Bob Greer. Thank you so much. We have Lisa Lee here tonight. She's like famous. She's like the famous star of Seaside, who has actually opened up the bookstore. So after this, the bookstore will be open. So thank you, Lisa, for coming. Of course, we have the wonderful and the amazing sounds coming from Kinney Dye this evening. And of course, thank you for your message, thank you for your light, and thank you for who you are. Thank you, Cese Foster.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay, so we have one more song. We're going to stand together for our congregational song. Kinney has CDs in the back. I know that Kim Jera listens to her music all the time. Kim Jera, thank you for being you. I know that you're watching. And there are cookies and tea in the back. I'll see you there.
So I wrote this song for us to sing together congregationally, and it fits so well with January and our theme of abundance, because you got to be open if we're going to get it, right? So let's open ourselves up. Super simple.
I am open. I am open. I am open to receive. I am open. My heart is open. I am open to receive.
So easy.
I am open. I am open. I am open to receive. I am open. My heart is open. I am open to receive. I am open to receive. I am open to receive.
We have cookies in the back. Come and talk to us. The bookstore is open. Any questions you may have, I am here all night. Well, until like 8:30ish, okay?